The glow of my phone lit up my trembling hands. Midnight. My heart thudded louder than the ticking clock on the wall. I pressed Go Live. Within seconds, the numbers began climbing. 10, 25, 100. People from everywhere were watching me, watching him. The first message popped onto the screen. His words, not mine. Don't tell her. She's too naive to notice anyway. Gasps filled the comments. Emojis, shock, curiosity. I stared into the camera, my voice cracking. My name is Lena. And this is my husband, Ethan. Or at least, the man who pretended to be my husband. I pressed play on another voice note. His laugh filled the room. Cold, mocking. She thinks I'm working late again. Pathetic. The viewers exploded, messages racing faster than I could read. Some people cheered me on, others begged me to stop, but I couldn't stop. I had lived in silence too long. Tonight, the silence ended. I wasn't always this woman. Hair unbrushed, eyes swollen from tears, hands shaking with fury. Once I was the wife who cooked dinner at 7, who left the porch light on until midnight, waiting for a husband who was never really coming home. But tonight, at midnight, he would come home to something else. The truth. I leaned closer to the screen. Before you get too comfortable, like this video and subscribe, but only if you truly enjoy these stories. And tell me where you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. My throat tightened, because I knew how far his lies had traveled, farther than I ever imagined. It started small, a forgotten receipt, a faint perfume on his shirt that wasn't mine. At first, I convinced myself it was stress, business dinners, bad memory. Ethan was charming, too charming, the kind of man who could look you in the eye and sell you a lie wrapped as love. But then came the locked phone, the late-night calls, the coldness when I reached for his hand. I tried to ignore it. I told myself, every marriage has cracks. But the cracks grew wider, and I was the one falling through. Then came Clara, my best friend. Or so I thought. She was always there with wine and advice, always defending Ethan. He's just tired. Don't overthink, but her eyes lingered too long on his texts when my phone buzzed on the table. Her smile tightened when his name appeared. A seed of doubt planted itself deep in me. The live stream buzzed with reactions. Who is Clara? Someone typed. I swallowed hard. They would know soon enough. I pressed another recording. Ethan's voice again. Don't forget to delete everything. She can't know delete what? Money transfers? Secrets? Women? I didn't know it all yet. But I would. And so would the world. Why now, Lena? One comment scrolled past. Because I was done being quiet. Because every time I looked in the mirror, I saw a woman vanishing. Tonight, I wanted her back. Ethan's words were no longer buried in his phone. They were alive, echoing through thousands of speakers. Somewhere out there, maybe Ethan himself was watching. Maybe Clara, too. Maybe his mother, Marion. All of them. My hands steadied as another message popped up on the screen. Meet me tonight. Same hotel. Don't be late. The room tilted. I knew that address. It wasn't just betrayal, it was humiliation. And it wasn't from last year or last month. It was sent tonight. I stared at the screen, my breath gone. He was with her now. While I sat here, burning alive in the ashes of our marriage. I looked back at the camera. If you were me, what would you do? Stay silent and die slowly, or burn the whole truth to the ground? The comments exploded. I didn't cry. I didn't look away, because this was only the beginning. At midnight, I had gone live, and by dawn, nothing would ever be the same. The sound of keys rattled at the front door. Ethan was home. The key turned in the lock, louder than any gunshot in my ears. I killed the sound on my phone, but not the stream. The world was still watching, though only I knew it. Ethan's footsteps echoed down the hallway, calm, unhurried, as if nothing in the world could touch him. That was Ethan's gift. He always moved like he owned every room he walked into. He entered, loosened his tie, tossed his jacket on the chair. His eyes landed on me, sitting there with my phone glowing in the dark. "Up late again?" he asked, voice silky smooth. "You'll ruin your skin staying up like this." I smiled, a practice smile. He thought he still held the stage. If only he knew. To everyone else, Ethan was the perfect husband. He sent flowers to my office on Valentine's Day. He opened doors, pulled out chairs, made strangers believe in old-fashioned love again. Women in town whispered, "She's so lucky." Lucky. They didn't see the coldness in his eyes when the doors closed. They didn't feel how heavy silence could weigh when you sat across a dinner table with a man who would rather be anywhere else. Ethan had built an image of perfection, and like a fool, I helped him polish it. Flashback. A charity gala 2 years ago. I stood beside him, hand on his arm, diamonds around my neck. Borrowed ones because we couldn't afford them then. "Smile more," he whispered between his teeth. "People will wonder if you're unhappy." So I smiled, like a mannequin. All night, women approached him, laughing at his jokes, praising his success. I heard my own name only when Ethan introduced me like I was part of his suit. "And this is my wife, Lena." I told myself it was fine. I told myself every marriage has roles. His was to shine, mine was to support. That was love, wasn't it? But as the years went on, love felt less like partnership and more like performance. The front door slammed shut now, pulling me back. Ethan poured himself a glass of whiskey, the ice clinking like tiny warning bells. "You're quiet tonight," he said. "Something wrong?" So many answers ran through my mind. The perfume, the late-night messages, the missing hours, the business trips that began on Friday and ended Sunday morning. But instead, I just whispered, "No, nothing." Because the truth was, I didn't have proof then, just suspicion. And suspicion makes you look like the crazy one. That was when Clara appeared. Clara had been my best friend since college. She knew my secrets, my scars, even the songs that could pull me out of the darkest moods. When I confessed my fears about Ethan, she was the one who came over with wine and chocolate, patting my hand. "Men are complicated," she said softly. "Don't ruin a good thing over small doubts." She laughed when I told her Ethan guarded his phone like a bodyguard. "Maybe he's just hiding your birthday surprise," she teased. But her smile, something about it always lingered, like she was holding back more than she gave. One night, after too many glasses of wine, I blurted, "Do you think he's cheating?" Clara's eyes flickered, but her voice was steady. "Ethan? No way. He's obsessed with you." She leaned closer, her perfume brushing against me, her tone suddenly sharper. "Don't become paranoid, Lena. Men hate that." At the time, I laughed it off. I was grateful for her reassurance. But now, replaying it in my head, I wondered, was she defending him or herself? Ethan sat across from me that night, sipping whiskey, scrolling his phone, not once glancing at me. I leaned back in my chair and studied him. His jawline, always clean-shaven. His suits, tailored to perfection. He lived for appearances. He couldn't stand a wrinkle, a stain, a flaw. And suddenly I realized Ethan treated me like just another accessory. Something polished, displayed, but never loved. The livestream buzzed on silent in my hand, comments racing across the screen. "Show us more." "What else is he hiding?" "Don't stop now." I didn't. I queued up another recording. Ethan's voice spilled into the stream for strangers, but not for him. He still thought I was scrolling aimlessly. "Clara," he whispered in the message, soft and urgent. "I can't stop thinking about last night." My blood froze. Clara, my best friend. I wanted to scream, to throw the glass in his hand across the room, but I didn't. Not yet. Because a scream ends the moment it leaves your lips. But proof lives forever. I stared at Ethan, sitting in his perfect suit, sipping his perfect drink, wearing his perfect mask. The world thought he was flawless, but I knew the cracks were already spreading, and at midnight I was going to break him. If you were me, would you confront him now? Or wait until every secret was ready to burn? My phone vibrated with a new message. A hotel address. From Ethan. Sent just minutes ago. The hotel address burned on my screen. A simple message from Ethan. Same place. Midnight. My hand shook as I held the phone. He was sitting right across from me, sipping his whiskey, pretending nothing had happened, while another woman waited for him in that hotel room. I forced a smile, slid my phone face down on the table. Don't stay up too late, he said, standing, his voice casual. As if you care, I whispered under my breath. But he didn't hear me. Or maybe he did and chose not to answer. He climbed the stairs, humming softly, shutting himself away in his office. That was Ethan's sanctuary, his fortress. And I was left downstairs, drowning in silence. I dialed Clara. She picked up on the second ring, her voice warm, familiar. Lena? Are you okay? You sound off, I hesitated. Clara had always been my anchor. When my father died, she stayed up all night at my side. When Ethan proposed, she cried harder than I did. But tonight, her voice made me shiver. I just needed to talk, I said. About Ethan. Of course. Her tone softened, laced with concern. Want me to come over? I'll bring wine, I hesitated. She never needed an excuse to come over, but tonight, her eagerness felt different. Not tonight, I said quickly. I feel like something's wrong. He's hiding something, Clara silence. Then a quick laugh. Every man hides something. Maybe he's just planning a surprise. You overthink things, Lena. I chewed my lip. What if it's more than that? Then maybe you don't want to know, she replied. Her words cut me. Maybe you don't want to know. Who says that to a friend desperate for truth? The next afternoon, Clara did come over, uninvited. She let herself in, as she often did. Brought croissants, she chirped, setting down a bag. Thought you could use some sugar. I forced a smile. Thanks. She poured coffee into mugs, moving around my kitchen as if it were her own. She always did that. Comfortable, at home. Where's Ethan? She asked casually, eyes flicking toward the stairs. Office, I replied. Her lips curled in a knowing smile. He works too hard. You should remind him you exist. I stared at her. She said it like a joke, but there was an edge to it, a sharpness. That night she stayed late, chatting, laughing, filling the empty space Ethan left behind. She leaned closer with every story, touched my arm when she laughed. You deserve better, you know, she said, eyes locking onto mine. Ethan. What do you mean? I asked, heart racing. He's lucky to have you. Anyone else would have left him already. She reached for my hand. I pulled back. Her smile faltered, just for a second. Then she laughed it off, standing. Ignore me. Too much wine, but the seed was planted. Days blurred. Ethan's lies grew sharper. Clara's presence grew heavier. One evening, I saw her car parked outside Ethan's office building. I slowed my own car, my breath catching. She sat inside, texting furiously. I dialed her number. She picked up instantly. Hey, just heading home, she said cheerfully. But she wasn't heading home. She was here. Why lie? I drove away, my hands white-knuckled on the wheel. The livestream buzzed again in my hand. Comments from strangers scrolled fast. Who's Clara? Show us her messages. Expose her. My throat tightened. They didn't know the half of it. Neither did I. The following Sunday, we had brunch at my mother-in-law's house. Marion sat at the head of the table, regal and cold as ever. Ethan played the perfect son. Clara, invited as always, sat beside me. Halfway through the meal, Ethan excused himself to take a call. Clara leaned toward me, whispering, "He works too hard. You shouldn't let him treat you like this." I frowned. "Why do you always defend him?" Her eyes flickered. "Because I don't want you to get hurt." But wasn't I already hurt? After brunch, Ethan's phone buzzed on the counter as he stepped outside. Clara's eyes darted toward it before I could even react. She reached for it. Fast. Too fast. Then pulled her hand back when she saw me watching. "Just thought it might be yours," she muttered, sipping her water. But it wasn't mine, and she knew it. That night, alone in my room, I replayed her words. Maybe you don't want to know. Why would Clara, my supposed best friend, warn me away from the truth? Unless the truth would reveal her too. I scrolled through Ethan's messages again, the ones I'd managed to copy. Most were from numbers I didn't recognize, but one stood out, saved under a man's name. Chris. The messages weren't friendly. They were intimate, playful. They spoke of nights, of secrets, of things Ethan never shared with me. But then, one slipped through. A single line that made my stomach churn. "I'll cover for you, like always. CC Clara." The livestream audience had no idea yet, but soon they would. I let Ethan's voice fill the stream again, his recording dripping arrogance. She'll never suspect a thing. Clara keeps her quiet, keeps her close. It's perfect. The comments exploded. Her best friend? No way. Girl, end her. I swallowed hard. My world shrank to a pinhole. It wasn't just Ethan betraying me. It was the woman I trusted more than anyone. The next day, I invited Clara over again. I needed to see her face when I said his name. She came in smiling, carrying fresh flowers. "Thought these might brighten your day." I placed them on the table without a word. "Clara," I said softly, "how long have you been covering for him?" Her smile faltered. "What?" "Don't lie." My voice cracked, but my eyes burned. "I saw the messages. I know it's you." Her face drained of color. She opened her mouth, closed it again, then forced a laugh. "You're paranoid, Lena. He's poisoning your mind." "Then why was your car at his office building?" Silence. Her lips trembled, but her eyes hardened. "Be careful, Lena. Sometimes the truth does more damage than the lies." I sat at the kitchen table long after Clara stormed out, her perfume still clinging to the air like smoke after a fire. My phone glowed with Ethan's newest message. "Meet me tonight. Same hotel. Don't tell Clara. Don't tell Clara." He didn't know that I already knew. Or maybe he thought I was too blind, too trusting. That was Ethan's favorite trick. Make me question myself until I begged him for the truth he'd never give. But tonight, I didn't go to the hotel. I went to his office. The lock clicked softly under my fingers. Ethan trusted me enough never to change the code. He thought I would never dare. Inside, the room was cold, immaculate, obsessive. Files labeled, stacked by year, pens aligned perfectly. A man who loved control. But when I pulled open the bottom drawer, the order cracked. Papers stuffed hastily, some torn, some unsigned. Bank statements, wire transfers, unfamiliar names. My heart pounded as I flipped through them. Tens of thousands missing. Accounts opened in other states. Payments to people I didn't know. And there, on one check, a name that froze me. Clara Thompson. I sank into his leather chair, the weight of it pressing me down. Clara wasn't just his lover. She was on his payroll. I snapped photos of everything, hands trembling. Each flash felt like a scream in the silent office. Behind me, the door creaked. "Lena?" I spun around. Ethan stood in the doorway, shirt unbuttoned, tie loose, eyes sharp as knives. "What are you doing?" he asked softly. Too softly. I hid the phone behind my back. "Looking for a pen." At midnight? He stepped closer, his lips curling into something that wasn't a smile. Or looking for something else? I forced a laugh. You know me. Can't sleep without scribbling a note or two. He didn't move. He just watched me. The silence stretched. Heavy. Dangerous. Finally, he said, "Next time, ask." I don't like people touching my things. Our eyes locked. He wasn't talking about pens. Later that night, I sat in bed, scrolling through the photos. Clara's name on a payment, Ethan's signature, multiple transfers, monthly, like a salary. I whispered to myself, "What were you paying her for, Ethan? To keep me quiet? To keep me blind?" The live stream buzzed again, thousands watching. I hadn't turned it off. They saw my face pale, my fingers clutching the phone like it was a lifeline. I held up one of the statements to the camera. "This isn't just betrayal of love," I said. "It's betrayal of money." He was paying her to betray me. The comments flooded. "Expose him." "Girl, that's fraud. Don't let him gaslight you." But the one that stood out read, "Check the other names." It's bigger than her. So I did. Buried between the transfers to Clara were others, to accounts linked to shell companies. At least 3. The same amounts recurring monthly. This wasn't just about an affair. This was business. Dirty business. The next morning, I confronted him. Not with fury, but with ice. "Ethan, I found a bank statement in your drawer," I said over breakfast, my tone deceptively calm. He didn't even look up from his eggs. And there are payments I don't understand. He sipped his coffee, smiled faintly. "You never did understand money. That's why I handle it." Clara's name was on one. His fork clattered against the plate, just for a second. Then he smoothed his face into that perfect mask. "Clara helped me with consulting." I paid her fairly. Consulting on what? "Does it matter?" His voice was sharp now, cutting. "I'm providing for us, Lena. You should be grateful. Grateful. For lies. For humiliation. For financing my own betrayal." That afternoon, I drove to the bank listed on one of the checks. I asked about the account. The clerk's polite smile faltered when she saw Ethan's name. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Richardson, but there are notes here. You should probably speak with your husband directly." "Notes?" She leaned closer, voice hushed. "Some of these accounts are under investigation." My heart dropped. Investigation. Ethan wasn't just betraying me. He was betraying the law. That night, Ethan didn't come home. He texted me at 2 a.m. "Don't wait up." Late meeting. But I knew exactly where he was. And this time, I didn't cry. I copied every document, every statement, every wire transfer. Ava, my coworker, the only person I trusted, helped me back them up in a folder labeled Truth. "Why are you doing this, Lena?" Ava asked. "Because the world needs to see what he really is," I whispered. "And because one day soon he'll regret underestimating me." If you uncovered both betrayal and fraud, would you go to the police first? Or expose him to everyone you know? As I locked away the folder of evidence, a message popped up on my screen. Not from Ethan. From Noah, his brother. "We need to talk." "Before you get hurt," Noah's message glowed in the dark like a flare. "We need to talk. Before you get hurt." My hands tightened around the phone. Hurt? As if betrayal wasn't enough. As if humiliation wasn't already eating me alive. What else could Ethan do to me? I typed back, "Meet me tomorrow. Noon, anywhere safe." The reply came instantly. "Don't text." Delete this delete? My chest tightened. Noah knew something. Something bigger than affairs and money. Something Ethan didn't want me to see. The next morning, Ethan's phone buzzed on the counter while he showered. For years, that sound was background noise. Harmless. Now it was the sound of my life unraveling. The screen lit up. A message preview. Just enough words to slice me open. "Can't wait to see you again. Last night was perfect, but the name above it was Chris. Chris, the same friend Ethan mentioned during dinners, the same name saved with little heart emojis hidden in the text log. My stomach twisted. I picked up the phone, but of course, it was locked. I had tried before, but Ethan guarded his passcode like a vault. He always angled the phone away when typing it. He used Face ID, fingerprint, everything. I held the phone in my hand, staring at my own reflection in the black glass. For years, I respected his privacy, trusted him, trusted Clara, trusted everything that was now shattering. No more. When Ethan came down, hair damp, tie half knotted, he caught me holding it. "What are you doing?" His tone was casual, but his eyes were sharp. "Just moving it off the counter." He took it from my hand slowly, deliberately, his fingers brushing mine like a warning. "Phones are personal, Lena." "You should know that personal?" I forced a laugh. "We're married. What could be so personal?" "Trust works both ways," he said simply, slipping it into his pocket. The irony almost made me choke. Later that day, I met Noah. We sat in a quiet cafe, far from Ethan's usual haunts. Noah looked tired, older than his years. His hands trembled as he stirred his coffee. "You shouldn't dig," he said without looking at me. "Ethan isn't who you think he is. I already know he's cheating. With Clara." And others, Noah's eyes snapped up, startled. Then he shook his head. "That's not all. That's not even the worst of it." "What do you mean?" Noah leaned closer. "Do you know why he guards that phone like it's his life?" I swallowed hard. "Because it is his life." Noah nodded. "Exactly. Everything's in there. Affairs, yes, but also names, accounts, proof of what he's been doing with the money." "The shell companies," I whispered. "And more." Noah's voice dropped. "Lena, Ethan isn't even his real name." The words clung to me like smoke. Not his real name. But before I could press him, Noah stood, pushing his chair back. "I've said too much. If he finds out I warned you, please, Noah. Help me." He shook his head, eyes haunted. "Get the phone." "It's the only way." Then he walked out, leaving me with more questions than answers. That night, Ethan slept soundly beside me, his phone charging inches away. The glow of the screen taunted me. I stared at it for hours, heart hammering, until finally, I reached. Face ID, failed. Passcode, failed. Try again in 1 minute. My hands shook. Another attempt. Failed. The phone vibrated, a faint buzz like a warning growl. If I pushed further, Ethan would know someone tried. So I set it back down. My breath caught in my throat. My chance, gone. The live stream buzzed in my hand. Viewers were restless. "Show us what's on the phone." "Hack it." "You can't stop now." I whispered to the audience, "Would you risk everything for the truth? Even if the truth could destroy you?" Because that's what it felt like. Standing on a cliff, staring into an abyss. The next morning, Ethan was gone before sunrise. A note on the table. "Working late. Don't wait up." My anger boiled, my humiliation burned, but under it all, determination hardened. If the phone was the key, I would find a way to open it. I called Ava. She listened quietly, then said, "Bring it to me. I can help." The word was a lifeline. That night, when Ethan showered again, I took the phone, slipped it into my purse. My hands shook, but my face was calm when he came downstairs. "Heading to bed early," I said lightly. He kissed my forehead absently. "Good girl." Good girl. He had no idea. The Sunday invitation arrived like clockwork. Marion's texts were always short, sharp, and impossible to ignore. "Dinner, 7 p.m. Don't be late. Ethan insisted we go. She worries if we miss it." Worries, that wasn't the word. Marion didn't worry. She controlled. And Ethan, her golden son, always obeyed. I dressed slowly, forcing myself into the navy dress she once called acceptable. I felt like I was marching into battle, except tonight I carried more than polite smiles. In my purse was the copy of Ethan's messages. Ava was still trying to crack the phone, but I already had fragments. Voice notes, transfers, Clara's smug texts. And tonight, for the first time, I wanted to look Marian in the eye and see if she already knew. Her house smelled of polished wood and lemon cleaner. The walls were lined with portraits of Ethan. Toddler Ethan on a tricycle, teenage Ethan in a suit, Ethan shaking hands with local politicians. A shrine. "Lena," Marian said, kissing the air near my cheek. Her perfume was heavy, suffocating. "You've lost weight." "Stress isn't flattering, dear." "Good to see you too," I murmured. At the long dining table, Ethan sat tall, smiling that practiced smile. Marian fussed over him, filling his plate first, pouring his wine as if I wasn't even there. I watched him play his part. Perfect son. Perfect man. I wanted to scream. Halfway through dinner, Marian fixed her eyes on me. Cold. Assessing. "Marriage is about sacrifice, Lena." "I hope you understand that I do," I said evenly. "I've given up plenty." Her fork stilled. "Good. Then stop digging where you don't belong." The words cut the air like a blade. My stomach lurched. Had Noah told her? Did she know I was searching through Ethan's files, his accounts? "I'm not sure what you mean," I said carefully. Marian's lips curved into the faintest smile. "Ethan works hard. He carries more than you can imagine. Don't burden him with questions." Ethan's hand brushed mine under the table. Firm. Warning. My skin crawled. Later in the kitchen, away from Ethan, Marian cornered me. Her nails dug into my arm, hidden from the others. "Listen carefully," she whispered. "Every man has a past. Some pasts should stay buried." I froze. "What are you talking about?" Her eyes glittered, cold steel. "Don't play naive. You think you're the first to ask questions? The first to wonder why doors stay locked?" My breath caught. "What are you saying, Marian?" She leaned closer, her lips almost brushing my ear. "I'm saying, if you love your life, Lena, you'll stop searching." Then she smiled sweetly, patted my hand, and walked back to the table like nothing happened. That night, in the car, Ethan hummed softly, tapping the steering wheel. "You're quiet," he said. "Your mother gave me plenty to think about," I replied. "She means well," he said smoothly. "She wants peace in the family." "Peace?" I snapped. She threatened me. His jaw tightened, but he didn't answer. The silence between us thickened. He didn't deny it. Back home, I opened the live stream again, whispering to my unseen audience. She knows. His mother knows. She warned me to stop digging. But why protect him? Why cover for him? What is she so afraid of me finding? The comments exploded. "She's in on it." Mothers always protect their golden sons. She knows something big. I nodded slowly. Yes, she does. And I'm gonna find out what the next morning Ava called me. "I got into part of the backup," she said breathlessly. "Not all of it. But enough. Lena, there are voice notes. From Ethan? Yes. Some are business, some are Clara. But one?" Ava paused. "One isn't to either of them. It's to Noah." My blood ran cold. "Send it." Seconds later, Ethan's voice filled my ear. Smooth, low, menacing. "Make sure she never finds out, Noah." "If she does, you know what happens next?" I couldn't breathe. My husband wasn't just lying to me. He was using his own brother to keep me in the dark. If your mother-in-law warned you to stop digging, would you listen? Or dig deeper, no matter the risk? As I replayed the message, the doorbell rang. I peeked out the window. Noah stood there, pale, frantic, holding a torn envelope in his hand. The doorbell echoed through the house like a summons. I opened the door and there was Noah, disheveled, pale, eyes darting like he expected someone to be following him. In his hand was a torn envelope. He shoved it toward me the moment I stepped aside. "We need to talk." "Now," he whispered. I closed the door quickly, my heart hammering. "What is this?" "Proof," Noah said, his voice raw, or at least part of it. I unfolded the papers inside. They were old court documents, faded but still legible. Ethan's name wasn't on them. Instead, the defendant listed was Marcus Reed. "Who is this?" I asked, my voice trembling. Noah's gaze locked on mine. "Ethan." I staggered back. "No, that's impossible. His name is Ethan Richardson. He was Marcus Reed." Noah cut me off. "Before he disappeared. Before he became Ethan." The words rattled in my chest. Ethan wasn't even his real name. "What did he do?" I demanded. Noah shook his head. "If you know too much, he'll destroy you." "Just like he destroyed—" He stopped himself, lips pressed tight. "Destroyed who?" Noah swallowed, sweat beating at his temple. "Someone who trusted him. Someone who thought she could change him. Don't make the same mistake." I wanted to scream at him. Shake him until the truth spilled out. But Noah's fear was real, almost tangible, and it chilled me more than anger ever could. "Why are you telling me this now?" I asked softly. "Because you're different. Because you still think you can fight him. But you can't, Lena. He always wins. Always wins." My fists clenched. "Then why are you helping me?" For the first time, Noah's expression softened. "Because I don't want to watch another woman suffer." I set the papers on the table. "These documents, fraud charges? Business theft?" Noah's jaw tightened. "Worse. He abandoned someone, a family, left them with nothing but debts in his name. He vanished, changed everything, started over as Ethan Richardson." The words hit me like a physical blow. My husband hadn't just lied about love. He had lied about his entire life. "Does Marion know?" I whispered. "Of course she knows," Noah said bitterly. "She helped bury it. She said it was for his protection, but it was really for hers. Her pride. She couldn't let the world know her golden son was rotten." My live stream was still running in the background. I hadn't realized it, but the chat exploded when I lifted the documents into view. "Who is Marcus? He's a fraud. Girl, don't stop. Show us more." I hesitated, torn between protecting Noah's courage and showing the world what Ethan really was. Noah grabbed my wrist. "Don't." "Not yet. If you go public now, he'll know it came from me." And then what?" Noah's lips pressed into a thin line. He looked away. Ethan came home late that night. His tie loose, his hair mussed, his smile too perfect. "Everything okay?" he asked, dropping his keys on the table. "Fine," I lied, hiding the papers under a cushion. He studied me, eyes narrow. "You're jumpy." "Just tired." He nodded slowly like a wolf humoring its prey. Then he kissed my cheek and whispered, "Get some sleep." Tomorrow's a big day. I didn't ask what he meant. I didn't want to know. Later, alone in bed, I whispered into the livestream camera. "My husband isn't who he says he is. His name isn't Ethan. It's Marcus Reed. And if that's true, what else has he lied about?" The chat erupted. "Oh my God, this is insane. Get out now. What's next?" I leaned closer. "Tell me, would you stay with a man who built your entire marriage on a stolen name?" The next morning, I woke to the sound of Ethan's phone buzzing. It lay on the nightstand, just out of reach. The preview flashed. "Marcus, call me back." It's urgent, Marcus. Not Ethan. Whoever was on the other end knew. I grabbed the phone, my hands trembling. But before I could read more, Ethan appeared in the doorway, eyes dark, his voice low. "Why are you touching my phone, Lena?" Ethan's eyes locked on mine, the phone still in my hand. "Why? he repeated, his voice lower this time. Are you touching my phone? My throat closed. Every instinct screamed at me to confess, to apologize, to back down. That was the role I had played for years. The quiet wife, the obedient partner. But not tonight. I heard it buzz, I said evenly. Thought it might be important. He stepped closer. Too close. His shadow swallowed me. He plucked the phone from my grip, slid it into his pocket, and leaned in so near I could feel his breath. Don't ever touch what's mine again, he whispered. Then he kissed my forehead and walked away as though he hadn't just threatened me. That morning, after he left for meetings, I crept into his office again. My hands shook, but my anger burned hotter than fear. I rummaged through the locked drawer. The same mess of documents, bank transfers, shell companies, Clara's name. But this time, buried under a stack of receipts, I found a photo. A boy, maybe 5 or 6. Brown hair, wide smile, eyes so bright it almost hurt to look at him. I turned the photo over, scribbled on the back in faded ink. Jacob. My chest constricted. Jacob. The name Ethan had mumbled in his sleep, the one he denied when I asked. The name that haunted him. When Ethan came home that night, I tried to act normal, but every glance at him made bile rise in my throat. He poured himself wine, asked about my day, kissed the air near my cheek. But I couldn't stop staring. Couldn't stop picturing the little boy in the photo. Finally, I asked, Do you know anyone named Jacob? The glass froze halfway to his lips. Why? I just heard the name somewhere. Thought maybe you knew him. Ethan's smile flickered. No, never heard of him. He drained his wine in one gulp and left the room. I sat there, clutching the photo hidden in my pocket. He lied. Again. The livestream comments lit up as I showed the back of the photo to the camera. Who is Jacob? Another family? Oh my God, this is huge, I whispered. I don't know yet. But I will. 2 days later, Noah called me again. Did you find the photo? His voice was tense. My blood ran cold. You knew about it? Silence. Then, Jacob isn't yours to worry about. Is he Ethan's son? I demanded. Noah's breath caught on the line. Drop it, Lena. For your own good. Some truths are too heavy, but his avoidance was answer enough. That night, I pressed Ethan again. Ethan, who's Jacob? He snapped this time, slamming his glass on the counter so hard it cracked. I told you, I don't know. Stop asking questions you don't want the answers to. I stood my ground, my voice trembling. But I do want the answers. He's a child, isn't he? A child you left behind. Ethan's eyes darkened. For the first time, he didn't even bother pretending. He just turned and walked away, slamming the office door behind him. Later, when the house was quiet, I crept to that office again. The photo wasn't in the drawer anymore. He'd hidden it, but I still had my copy on my phone. I stared at the little boy's smile. The innocence. The joy. And I thought, how could Ethan walk away from this? The live stream buzzed louder than ever. Show us Jacob. Does he know his father is a fraud? Tell us everything, I whispered into the camera. If your husband had a secret child, would you confront him or protect the child from him? Because the truth was, I didn't know if Jacob was safe or if Ethan had ruined him too. The next morning, I received an anonymous email. No subject, no signature, just one line. If you want to know about Jacob, meet me. Tomorrow, noon. The park attached was another photo. The same boy. A little older now, still smiling. My heart raced. Whoever sent it knew Jacob, knew everything. If a stranger offered you the truth about a hidden child, would you go, risking everything, or stay away? The next day, I walked to the park at noon. A woman waited on the bench, clutching Jacob's hand. When she lifted her head, my world tilted. Her face was both familiar and devastating. It was Clara. The sun was merciless at noon, but a chill spread through me as I froze on the gravel path. Clara sat on the park bench, sunglasses shielding her eyes, Jacob's small hand nestled in hers. He clutched a toy dinosaur, roaring softly, oblivious to the storm brewing around him. When she looked up at me, she smiled. That same sweet, practiced smile she'd used for years. Wine nights, whispered secrets, false comfort. But today, the smile carried victory. "Surprised?" she asked. I couldn't breathe. "What are you doing with him?" "Relax, Lena." Clara purred. "Jacob loves the park." "Don't you, sweetheart?" She stroked the boy's hair. My knees almost buckled. "So he is Ethan's." Clara tilted her head. "You always were quick, just not quick enough." I sat across from her, my heart pounding so loud I thought the boy could hear. "You knew," I whispered. "All this time you knew about Jacob." "Of course I knew." "Who do you think kept the secret safe?" Clara's lips curved. "Ethan trusts me." "He always has, more than he ever trusted you." The words hit like a blade. I wanted to scream, to drag Jacob away, to shatter the perfect mask she wore. But the boy's innocent eyes held me still. He deserved none of this. Clara leaned closer, lowering her voice. "You've been digging too much, Lena." "Ethan knows. He always knows. That Livestream stunt of yours? Cute. Dangerous, but cute." My chest tightened. "How do you—" "Please." Clara laughed, soft and cruel. "You think you can hide from him?" "From me? He has eyes everywhere. But you only had me." "And now?" She shrugged. "Now you have nothing." Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, smirked, then slid it back into her bag. "Go home, Lena. Stop this game before you ruin yourself. Or worse, before you ruin Jacob." The way she said his name, like she owned him, made bile rise in my throat. That night, I told Ava everything. She listened in silence, eyes widening, fists tightening. Then she said, "Lena, this is bigger than you think. Clara's not just helping him. She's benefiting. She's in on the fraud." I shook my head, pacing. "She has Jacob, Ava. She's using him against me." Ava's voice sharpened. "Then we get proof. If Ethan can't deny it, neither can she." Proof. The word pulsed in my head. Ava worked her magic on Ethan's phone backup. Hours later, she handed me a flash drive. "You should see this for yourself." I plugged it into my laptop. The screen filled with text threads, thousands of them. Women, transfers, Clara. And then a folder labeled Marcus/J. My breath caught. Inside were photos. Jacob as a baby, Ethan holding him, smiling in ways I'd never seen. Notes about therapy, payments for medicine. And then the trail stopped, abruptly. The last file was a voice note. Ethan's voice, cold and final. "I can't do this anymore. Tell her I'm gone. Tell her Jacob isn't mine." I clutched my chest. He had walked away, just as Noah warned, just as Marion tried to bury. Ethan had erased an entire child from his life, and Clara had helped him do it. The live stream buzzed. I held the flash drive up to the camera. "Proof," I whispered. "Proof he abandoned his child. Proof he lied about everything." The comments erupted. "Oh my God, this is insane. Show us. Drop it all at midnight." Ethan came home late again. His shirt reeked of cologne that wasn't mine. His smile was too wide, too rehearsed. "How was your day?" he asked. "Fine," I said, hiding the laptop behind me. His eyes narrowed. "You've been busy." My pulse raced. Did he know? Did Clara tell him? I forced a smile. "Just cleaning." He kissed my cheek, lingering too long. "Good girl." Then he disappeared into his office. I turned back to Ava. Her face glowed on my laptop screen from a video call. "You need to be careful," she said. "He's watching you. Probably tracking your phone, but you have leverage now. With Jacob leverage." I stared at the boy's smiling face in the photo. Leverage. Evidence. Proof. And yet, all I could feel was sorrow. He was just a child caught in Ethan's web of lies. As I whispered into the live stream, a notification popped up on my phone. An unknown number, one line. Meet me tomorrow night. I'll tell you everything about Marcus. Bring no one. The anonymous message haunted me all night. Meet me tomorrow night. I'll tell you everything about Marcus. Bring no one, Marcus. Ethan's real name. Whoever sent it knew more than I did, maybe more than Noah dared reveal. But before I could chase that lead, Clara arrived at my doorstep. Uninvited, as always. She breezed in with her usual confidence, dropping her purse on the counter like she owned the place. "We need to talk," she said, her tone sharp, not soft. Her sunglasses hid her eyes, but her voice carried no warmth. This wasn't the Clara who once sat on my couch, crying at chick flicks, eating ice cream straight from the tub. This was someone else. Someone who had been playing me all along. "You've been busy," Clara said, running a finger across the table as if checking for dust. "Digging where you shouldn't." I crossed my arms. "Funny, that's exactly what Ethan's mother told me." She laughed. Marion always did know when to keep a woman in line. The words twisted in my chest. "So you admit it. You've been working with him. Covering for him." All these years, her smile widened, cruel. "Oh, Lena." "Working with him? Try working for him." Every text, every tear, every wine night, I played my part. I was his safety net. While you were busy doubting yourself, I was making sure you never doubted him. The live stream in my pocket buzzed. Thousands of eyes waited. I didn't stop recording. I whispered, "Say that again." Clara tilted her head. "You heard me. He paid me. To distract you. To make you question yourself. To keep you from ever finding Jacob." The name hit me like lightning. "So Jacob is his son," I whispered. Clara smirked. "Of course. He walked away from that boy, just like he'll walk away from you. But me? I'll always be here, because he trusts me in ways he never trusted you." Her words cut deeper than any knife. "Why?" I demanded. "Why would you betray me like this? We were supposed to be friends." Her laughter was bitter, hollow. "Friends? Lena, you never noticed, did you? All the times he chose me over you. All the secrets he whispered to me. Not you. You were the wife in name. I was the one he wanted." Tears burned my eyes, but I forced myself to stand tall. "No, you were the one he used. Just like he uses everyone." For a moment, her mask cracked. Her eyes hardened, jaw clenched. But then she leaned in, voice dripping venom. "Even if that's true, at least I mattered." "You? You were just the audience." I pulled my phone from my pocket, holding it up so the camera captured her face. "Say that again, Clara." She blinked. "What?" "You're live," I said, my voice steady despite my shaking hands. "The world just heard you." Her face drained of color. "You wouldn't." "I already did." The comments exploded across the screen. OMG, her friend? She admitted it. Expose them both. Clara lunged forward, snatching for the phone. "You don't know what you've done," she hissed. "Ethan will bury you for this." I stepped back, my voice trembling but fierce. "Then let him try." She froze, breathing hard, then her lips curled into a sneer. "You think you're clever? You're nothing without him. Without me. No one will believe you when he paints you as hysterical. He's done it before. He'll do it again." "Then why are you afraid?" I shot back. Her silence was answer enough. That night, Ethan came home late. He smelled of smoke and whiskey, his eyes red. He poured himself a drink and leaned against the counter, watching me. "You've been busy." I said nothing. He smiled faintly. "Clara told me you're getting reckless." My stomach churned. "You mean she warned you that I finally know the truth?" He chuckled. "Truth? You wouldn't recognize truth if it kissed you on the cheek. Clara's loyal. Unlike you, I wanted to scream, but instead I whispered, She admitted everything. To the world, for the first time, Ethan's smile faltered. Later, in my room, I whispered into the livestream camera. She betrayed me. My best friend. The woman I trusted more than anyone. She admitted to helping him, to hiding his son. And yet, I don't think she told me everything. There's still something worse. Something buried. The chat buzzed. Keep going. Clara knows more. Don't stop now. I closed my eyes. I couldn't stop. Not now. What hurts more? Betrayal by the one you love or betrayal by the one you trusted most? At midnight, another anonymous email arrived. One photo attached. It wasn't Ethan. It wasn't Clara. It was Jacob, standing beside a woman I'd never seen before. The caption read, "Ask him about Sarah." The email's subject line was blank. No sender name. Just the photo attached. Jacob holding hands with a woman I didn't recognize. Her hair tied back, her smile weary but tender, like someone who had carried storms and kept walking anyway. The caption under the photo, "Ask him about Sarah." Sarah. The name clawed at me. Who was she? That night, Ethan sat in his office with the door closed, the faint hum of his printer running. I pressed my ear against the wood. His voice drifted through, low and sharp. "No. I told you she doesn't know." "Not yet. Keep it buried." I said I'll handle her. Stop calling a pause. A chair scraped. His voice dropped to a whisper. "I told you, Sarah." "It's over. It's been over." My stomach dropped. Sarah wasn't just a name in an email. She was real. Still calling him. Still tied to him. The livestream camera glowed faintly from its hiding spot on the dresser. I whispered to my unseen audience, "Sarah." He said her name. He told her it was over. But why is she still in the picture? Who is she to Jacob? Who is she to him? The comments lit up instantly. Secret wife? Jacob's mother? Confront him now. But I wasn't ready to confront. Not yet. I needed more. The next morning, I called Noah. His voice was strained, cautious. "Sarah?" I asked, barely above a whisper. The silence stretched until I thought he'd hung up. Then, "You don't want this, Lena." "Yes, I do." He sighed. "Broken. Sarah was the one before you. She's Jacob's mother." The room spun. My knees buckled. "So Jacob really is Ethan's son?" "Yes, Marcus, Ethan, whatever you want to call him." He left them. Disappeared. Reinvented himself. Pretended Sarah and Jacob never existed. My pulse hammered. And Marion? She knew? Of course. She told him to cut ties. Said it was cleaner. My chest burned with rage. They erased a child's life because it was inconvenient. That night, I laid the photo of Sarah and Jacob on the table when Ethan walked in. He froze. "Where did you get that?" His voice cracked like a whip. "Who is she?" I demanded. His face hardened. "No one." "Don't lie to me. She's Jacob's mother, isn't she? You had a life before me, a family, and you left them." Ethan slammed his fist on the table, the sound echoing through the room. "That's not what happened." "Then tell me what did happen." He stared at me, jaw tight, eyes storming. "She tricked me. Lied. Said Jacob was mine when he wasn't. She forged papers. I left because she betrayed me." I shook my head. "That's not what Noah said." His eyes narrowed. "Noah doesn't know anything." But the flicker in his expression told me otherwise. I whispered into the live stream later, clutching the photo. He said Sarah tricked him. He said Jacob wasn't his. But why would Noah warn me otherwise? Why would he beg me to stop digging? Unless the truth is worse than either of them admit. The comments poured in. "He's lying again. Check the papers. Find Sarah." Yes, Sarah. She was the missing piece. The next morning, I found another email. This time, more direct. "He'll deny me. He'll deny Jacob. but I have proof. Meet me. Tonight, 10 p.m., the old train station. Attached was a scanned birth certificate. Under father, it read, Marcus Reed, my husband, my liar, my betrayer. That night, as I prepared to leave, Ethan appeared in the doorway. Where are you going? Out. His eyes narrowed. With who? Does it matter? He stepped closer, his smile cold. It does when you're my wife. I forced a smile back. Am I? Or am I just the second life you built after you abandoned the first? His face darkened, but I walked past him, clutching the birth certificate in my bag. At the train station, I saw her. Sarah, older than the photo, eyes lined with exhaustion. She clutched Jacob's hand, pulling him close as she looked straight at me. You must be Lena, she said. We need to talk. Before it's too late, the train station was almost empty, its steel beams echoing every sound. Sarah sat stiffly on the bench, Jacob's small hand curled tightly in hers. When she spoke, her voice was low but steady. You must be Lena. I nodded. My throat was dry. I am. And you're Sarah. Her eyes softened briefly. I wish we were meeting under different circumstances. I sat across from her, the birth certificate heavy in my bag. Tell me everything. For a moment, she just stared at Jacob, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. Marcus wasn't always Ethan. When I met him, he was charming. He could make a room spin with just his smile. I thought I was the luckiest woman alive. Her lips trembled. And then Jacob was born. He wasn't what Marcus expected. He had complications, health challenges. The bills piled up. I thought we'd face it together. But one night, he just left. No note. No goodbye. Just gone, my chest ached. And Marion? Sarah's laugh was bitter. She told me not to ruin her son's future with my burdens. She said Jacob wasn't worthy of the Richardson name. That was the last time I saw her face to face. I felt sick. Ethan hadn't just lied to me. He had abandoned a child, erased him, rebuilt himself with a shiny new name. And his mother had helped. Sarah leaned closer. He'll twist it. He'll say Jacob isn't his. He'll wave around DNA tests he forged. But I have the originals. She slid a folder across the bench. Inside were medical records, receipts, court petitions, even his old signature. Marcus Reed. I swallowed hard. Why now? Why give this to me? Her eyes glistened. Because you still have a chance. He's planning to run again, Lena. He always runs when the walls close in. And when he does, you'll be left with nothing. Unless you stop him first. That night, back in my bedroom, I opened the Livestream camera and held up the folder. I have proof, I whispered, my hands trembling. Proof he abandoned his own son. Proof he changed his identity. Proof Clara helped him bury it all. And I'm going to show the world. Not in whispers. Not in pieces. All of it. At midnight, the comments roared across the screen. Do it. Yes, drop the bombshell. Expose them all. I took a deep breath. If you were me, would you risk everything to go public? Or would you walk away and stay safe? Ava called me the moment the stream ended. You're serious about this? She asked. Yes, midnight tomorrow. Every message, every photo, every transfer. I want the world to see who Ethan really is. Ava hesitated. He won't let this slide. Once it's out, there's no going back. I pressed the folder against my chest. That's the point. The next day, Ethan hovered more than usual. He lingered in the kitchen, his eyes sharp, his questions sharper. Where were you last night? He asked casually, sipping coffee. Out, I said. With who? I smiled faintly. A friend. His jaw ticked. He leaned closer, voice dropping to a hiss. Be careful, Lena. Curiosity kills more than cats, I held his gaze, my fear slowly curdling into resolve. And lies bury more than secrets. He froze, searching my face. But before he could speak, my phone buzzed. A message from Ava flashed on the screen. System ready. Files queued. Midnight drop, I tucked the phone away. The countdown had begun. That evening, I sat in the dark, rehearsing. The opening words, the order of the files, the crescendo of betrayal, Ethan's sweet nothings to Clara, his payments, his forged signatures, his abandonment of Jacob. I would stitch it all together into one unstoppable story. Not gossip, not rumor, proof. If you could expose a liar for who they truly are, would you risk your safety, your home, even your future to do it? As midnight approached, I whispered into the livestream camera one final promise. At midnight, you'll see everything. Every message he ever sent. And when the world knows the truth, Ethan Richardson will cease to exist. Marcus Reed will be unmasked. At 11:45 p.m., just as I prepared to go live, the lights in the house flickered and went out. My laptop screen went black. Then, from the hallway, I heard a low voice. Nice try, Lena. It was Ethan. The house was silent. Too silent. The lights had gone out. The hum of appliances dead. My laptop screen was black, the streaming software gone with it. Only the faint glow of my phone illuminated the dark, trembling in my hand. And then, his voice. Nice try, Lena. Ethan's silhouette filled the doorway. Tall, calm, terrifying. I forced my voice steady. What did you do? Pulled the plug. He lifted a bundle of cut cords in his hand. Did you really think you could outsmart me with a toy live stream? My pulse pounded in my ears. You can't hide forever, Ethan. Or should I say, Marcus? His jaw tightened at the name. For the first time, I saw real anger flicker in his eyes. You've been talking to Sarah. I swallowed. I know about Jacob. About how you left them. About how Marion covered for you. And now Clara, too. He stepped closer, his shadow spilling across the floor. You don't know anything. You think a few old papers will destroy me? Please, I've rebuilt myself before. I'll do it again. I clenched my fists. Not this time. Because this time the world is watching. He chuckled low, shaking his head. The world? Lena, the world doesn't care. They'll forget you in a week. But me? He tapped his chest. I'll still be standing. Because I know how to survive. His calmness chilled me more than shouting ever could. I whispered, Then why are you afraid? For the first time, his smile faltered. In my pocket, my phone vibrated. Ava calling. I slid it out just enough to see her message. Backup stream ready. Go hot now, my heart leapt. Ethan hadn't cut off everything. Ava had anticipated this. The files were already queued, waiting for my signal. But I had to stall him. Tell me something, Ethan, I said, lifting my chin. When you left Sarah, when you abandoned Jacob, did you feel anything? Or was it as easy as pouring another glass of wine? His eyes hardened. Don't twist this. I gave them a chance. She lied to me. That boy is your son, I snapped. For a moment, the mask slipped. His face twisted, not with guilt, but with something darker. Hatred. He stepped closer, his voice low. Careful, Lena. You're walking into places you can't walk back from. I tapped the side of my phone 3 times. The signal. Ava's backup server roared to life in silence. Every message, every file, every recording queued into the live stream. The comments exploded instantly. We're back. Drop the truth. Expose him. Ethan's head whipped toward the faint glow of my phone. His eyes widened. What did you do? I smiled, trembling but unbroken. I don't need the lights. I don't need the house. I only need this. I lifted the phone so his face filled the camera. For the first time, Ethan's composure cracked. He lunged for me. I stumbled back, my phone still streaming. His voice, raw and furious, carried through the mic. You think you can ruin me? I made you. I own you. The comments blazed across the screen. OMGHESEXPOSINGHIMSELF. This is insane. Keep streaming, I screamed back. You own nothing, Marcus. Not me. Not Jacob. Not your lies anymore. He froze at the name again, his fists trembling. For a moment, he looked less like a husband, less like a man, more like a cornered animal. You don't understand, he muttered. If the world sees this, I'm finished. That's the idea, I whispered. Then, from outside, headlights swept across the living room wall. A car door slammed. Another. Noah's voice rang out, desperate. Lena, don't open. The door burst open before he finished. Marion stood in the doorway, her eyes wild, her coat half-buttoned. Stop this, both of you. Do you have any idea what you're doing? Ethan turned toward her, furious. You shouldn't be here. I should have been here years ago, she snapped. The camera caught all of it. The golden sun, the protective mother, the unraveling lies. And the chat went berserk. Mother in on it too. She knew. Keep streaming. Ethan turned to me, his voice low, almost pleading. End the stream, Lena. End it, and I'll tell you everything. About Sarah, about Jacob, about what really happened that night. The phone trembled in my hand, the stream still running, comments flying across the screen faster than I could read. Thousands of strangers watched every second, waiting for me to choose. Expose him, or let him speak. Ethan's eyes locked on mine, his voice steady but desperate. End it, Lena. End the stream, and I'll tell you everything. No lies this time. Behind him, Marion stood rigid, her hands clenched at her sides. Don't believe him, she hissed. He'll twist it like he always does. Noah pushed through the doorway, his face pale, sweat beading his brow. She deserves to know, Ethan. If you don't tell her, I will. The room spun, everyone shouting, everyone hiding pieces of the puzzle. And me, caught in the middle, clutching the only weapon I had left, the truth. I lifted the phone higher. No, you don't get to negotiate anymore. You don't get conditions. You talk, Ethan. Here, now. Or the world sees every file, every message without your voice to defend you. His jaw tightened, a muscle twitching. For the first time, he looked small. Not the powerful, untouchable man I married, but a boy cornered by his own lies. Fine, he said at last, his voice raw. You want the truth? Jacob is mine. Sarah was mine. And I left them. I walked away because I didn't want the weight. I didn't want a son who wasn't perfect. I wanted freedom. And Marion... Stop. Marion's voice cracked like thunder, but Ethan pressed on, his words tumbling out like stones he'd carried too long. She told me to do it. She said a child like him would ruin the Richardson name. So I listened. I ran. I buried Marcus Reed and became Ethan Richardson, and I would have kept it buried, if it weren't for you. The live stream exploded. He admitted it. The mother is to blame too. OMG, this is crazy. I stared at Marion, whose face had gone pale, her lips trembling. Is it true? I whispered. She turned away, silent. Noah's eyes burned. I begged you, Ethan. I begged you not to do it. And you did anyway. You let her push you into abandoning your own child. Ethan's voice rose, frantic. I had no choice. You always had a choice. I spat. You just chose yourself. Again, and again, and again, he reached toward me suddenly, his eyes wild. But you, Lena, you can fix this. If you end the stream now, we can rebuild. Together. We can erase this like we erased the rest. The audacity stole my breath. He thought I'd still save him. He thought love or fear would bind me. But I felt nothing now except clarity. I turned the phone so the camera caught every face in the room. Ethan's frantic eyes, Marion's pale silence, Noah's anguish. This, I told the live stream, is the family behind the mask. A husband who abandoned his son. A mother who buried the truth. A friend who betrayed me. And me, the fool who believed them all. But not anymore. Ethan lunged for the phone. Noah stepped between us, shoving him back. Enough, brother. It's over. The stream caught the scuffle, Ethan's snarled threats, Noah's shaking voice. Marion screamed for order, but there was no order left. The world had already seen. I pressed the button Ava had cued for me. The files flooded the live stream. Ethan's messages to Clara, the forged signatures, the bank transfers, the recordings of his voice abandoning Jacob. One after another, proof piled into the feed. Undeniable and irreversible. The comments exploded like fireworks. He's finished! Call the police! You are so brave. Ethan froze, watching it all unravel on the screen. His face drained of color. He whispered almost to himself, "It's all gone." Everything Marion's voice cracked. Ethan. But he pulled away from her, his eyes hollow. Don't call me that. I'm not Ethan. I never was. I turned back to the camera. My voice shook, but my resolve didn't. This is the end of his lies. And tomorrow the world will know him not as Ethan Richardson, but as Marcus Reed, the man who thought he could abandon, betray, and erase. But the truth always finds the light. As the stream blazed with comments, a new notification popped up on my phone. An email. From Sarah. 4 words. You don't know everything. The stream ended at 12:43 a.m. By then, the world knew. Ethan, Marcus, whatever name he wore, was no longer a husband, no longer a golden son, no longer the man behind the mask. He was exposed. I sat on the couch, my phone still buzzing with endless notifications, comments, shares, headlines already forming. Ava texted me, "It's viral." He's finished. But instead of triumph, I felt hollow. Ethan paced the living room like a trapped animal. His tie hung loose, his hair damp with sweat. "You've ruined me," he spat. "Everything I built, gone." "You ruined yourself," I whispered. Marion sat in the corner, staring at the floor, her perfect composure shattered. "I told you, Marcus," she murmured. "I told you this would happen." Noah stood against the wall, exhausted. "You both made this bed. Now lie in it." For once, Ethan had no retort. At dawn, the police came. Not because of me, because of Sarah. She'd filed the abandonment case years ago. Now, with the live stream evidence, it reopened like a wound that never healed. I watched from the doorway as they led Ethan away in handcuffs. He didn't fight. He didn't plead. He just looked at me once, his eyes empty, and said, "You'll regret this." Maybe he was right. Maybe I would. That afternoon, I met Sarah again. Jacob played nearby, his laughter bright, untarnished. Sarah handed me a letter. "I found this," she said. "He wrote it years ago." Never sent it. The paper trembled in my hands, Ethan's handwriting. "I'm not strong enough. I'm not the man you think I am. I wish I could be a father. I wish I could be more. But I can't. Forgive me." My chest ached, for all his lies, his cruelty, his cowardice. There had been a moment of truth, a moment of weakness, a moment of humanity. I didn't know whether to cry or burn the letter. That night, I opened the live stream one final time. "My story is over," I told the faceless audience. "He's gone. The mask is gone. But don't mistake this for victory. There are no winners here. A child was abandoned. A family was broken. A friend betrayed. And me? I've lost everything I thought I had." The comments poured in. "You're a hero. He got what he deserved. You're free now." I shook my head. Heroes don't feel this empty. Freedom doesn't feel this heavy. I closed the camera. Weeks later, the world had moved on to another scandal. But the echoes remained. The whispers at the grocery store, the pitying glances at work, the silence of a house once filled with laughter. I still had the folder, the photos, the letter, proof of everything he tried to erase. Sometimes I thought of burning it all. Sometimes I thought of publishing more. But most nights I just sat in the dark staring at the photo of Jacob, wondering if one day he'd want to know me, wondering if I'd ever stop seeing Ethan's shadow in my dreams. Because here's the truth no live stream can capture. When you expose a monster, you don't just destroy him. You destroy the part of yourself that once loved him, and that loss never really ends. If you've stayed until the end, maybe your heart has felt something too. Leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe if you'd like to keep sharing these journeys with me.